There's 33 people waiting.
Dang.
Holy, it's going to have a lot of views. Thank you. Yep, that's what I was missing.
Huh.
4.5 minutes. Let's go. It is that time of year. The NJAC.
Heck yeah, bro. Chills.
It is that time of year. NJAC playoffs at MSU Soccer Park. Start with that. NJAC semifinal between the Montclair State Redhawks and TCNJ Lions.
cross header and a goal!
Box, Tobon's on it, and it's a goal!
Every guy on this team is gritty. Every guy on this team is going to fight for each other.
Scores for Montclair State.
The offense has been clicking. Shot, goal!
We're always going to fight for each other. We're always going to fight to the end until that whistle.
It is that time of year, and the NJAC playoffs are here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Red Hawk Sports Network. Tonight, a semifinal matchup here at Montclair State University. Montclair State University Redhawks versus the TCNJ Lions. Luke Sirianni joined alongside CJ Staniak. And CJ, 2 more wins until one of these teams could be crowned conference champions.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this has become an annual event here in this building and for this semifinal match for Montclair State. They've hosted this round every year since 2017, and once again here in 2025. Here they are, just 2 wins away from another conference championship. We're so accustomed to seeing them at this stage, but TCNJ, not so much. Been a bit of a Cinderella story this year. Their first season over 500 in over half a decade. They win in quarterfinal matchup, blowout fashion. There's a lot of weight in their direction right now, and TCNJ has got it going on here in 2025.
And you have to remember, Montclair State is at home, where they have been so dominant and amazing, and of course the home crowd always showing out. A lot of things to go on, but for Montclair State, they do play the regular season of how they clinched. Let's check out their final matchup of the season on the road versus Rutgers Camden, where the Redhawks had to determine their destiny for playoff seeding.
Yeah, it wasn't a glorious championship victory like we would maybe hope for Montclair State, but they did enough to come out with the regular season crown. After a scoreless first half, Sebastian Lapczynski taking some weight off of the Redhawks' shoulders, a penalty kick goal, and this was yet again another defensive showcase for Montclair State. They were once again stifling. They only allowed 3 shots on goal in the match. A late goal from Rutgers Camden made it a 1-point day instead of a 3-point day for the Redhawks, but they end up with that top seed. All that ends well is well. Dr. Multi admitting this week some adjustments weren't necessary. You see on the other side, TCNJ a lot happier about where they're coming into things now as they get the win over Rutgers Camden.
Yeah, this was a 5-1 win for TCNJ versus Rutgers Camden, putting them one step closer to the title, CJ.
Yeah, what a great showing from them. They may have found their recipe going forward. Despite hanging 5 on Rutgers Camden, it was really the counterattack that was terrific all night. This was a match in which the Scarlet Raptors took 31 shots to TCNJ's 12. The shots on goal a little bit tighter. Most importantly, though, the Lions hitting the back of the net on 5 of their 7 shots on target. TCNJ is willing to allow its opponent to be the aggressor. It's going to be something to watch out again tonight against a team like Montclair State that will keep the ball in the attacking third if allowed.
Yeah, amazing performance by TCNJ, adding 5 goals, really putting some pressure, maybe sending a message to these Montclair State Redhawks. Now, we are in the semifinals, as mentioned, and with just 3 playoff games remaining in total, let's take a look at the current state of this men's bracket. As mentioned, and you just saw there, TCNJ took down Rutgers Camden comfortably 5-1 on the side of the bracket to earn tonight's matchup versus Montclair State. On the other side, Rowan just got past William Patterson with a narrow 1-0 win. And we will be closely following the other side of the semifinal match tonight between Rowan and Stockton, which will also have the same kickoff time, CJ, 7 p.m. So we're going to keep you updated on that. The winner of both games will face off on Saturday in the NJAC finals. And like I said, CJ, we are now in the home stretch with just 4 teams remaining.
And it really feels like this is anybody's tournament, Luke. Stockton and Rowan is going to be an awesome match tonight. Surely the winner will carry the momentum with them. We're used to seeing these top 3 seeds this time of year, Montclair State, Rowan, and Stockton, but this new era of TCNJ soccer may be unfolding right in front of our eyes. Maybe they've thrust themselves into the mainstay of NJAC contenders along with the rest of the teams still playing.
This is the bracket, and this is what the remaining NJAC playoffs will look like. We are now going to toss it over to our matchup on the sideline, Vincent Pacone. Vincent.
Minutes, gave up 1 goal, and since then, he's made 7 consecutive starts. Now, with a little bit more polish to him, Let's see how he does in the playoffs. Now on the other side, the freshman that needs no introduction whatsoever, Sean Najovic. He has been incredible. NJAC goalie of the year and 2-time rookie of the week. Why has he been so phenomenal? Well, maybe it's because of his 5 shutouts. 3 of them coming against Ramapo, Rutgers Camden, and Rutgers Newark, all in a row. Now, with the lights at the brightest, let's see which goalie can save their team from elimination. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Vincent, for that. An amazing goalie matchup we will see tonight. 2 freshman keepers, and we cannot wait to watch it. Now, there is a way that we track these teams in the conference. It's called the United Soccer Coaches National Poll Ranking, and it has been an important source of information for these teams where Montclair State is nationally ranked, and the range of where they've been ranked is quite fascinating. Let's take a look.
The Redhawks have had to keep a tab open all year on their laptop for these rankings, Luke. Despite all the newcomers on the roster, Montclair State still receiving votes weekly since the beginning of September, reaching as high as number 14. You saw the loss to NJCU that dropped them out of the top 25, but it's been a steady climb really since that point, and these Redhawks have really put themselves in a good position to end up in the national tournament regardless of how the NJAC shakes out, though they would love to earn an automatic bid should that be the case.
So that was the rankings there each week, and we saw how much it varied. Now let's look at the history of these 2 teams between Montclair State and TCNJ.
Yeah, this is a matchup that's been dominated by the Redhawks in recent memory, but historically TCNJ, you see, they
Go up
actually
the
have the better
sideline.
hand.
Now Danny Tobin on the
that back
baseline,
on
finds
October
Contreras,
4th.
and it's a goal for Montclair State. Montclair finally had a goal.
Past decade, I should say.
Almost halfway through
Sort of
the first
opposite
half.
directions.
Redhawks
This
take
year
the
a little
lead.
bit more competitive. A late
Crash
goal
arm goes down,
made it
ball's in the
2-1
box.
final.
Tobon's on it, and it's a goal!
They are 7-0
Winchuck
in
the
their last 7
Tobon,
matchups.
and now the Redhawks lead 1-0 early on in this game.
Going in 2 different directions. TCNJ, some coaching changes, but now they are back, and they're back in the playoffs where they are 3-0 against these Montclair State Redhawks. It just adds another very interesting element to this. Historically and recently, Montclair State getting the victories, but here now with playoff air at MSU Soccer Park may be different.
And there is one more layer of the regular season that we must mention. It is the men's awards in the NJAC conference, which came about yesterday. And my goodness, the men's team and women's team really just dominated this one. And so many star players really that really made this team a very serious contender here in the NJAC with a very different and revamped roster.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Montclair State, so dominant really across all soccer. The last couple of years we've seen the awards, and you see this year is really no different. First of all, the major award given to Tomas Monteiro, the Rookie of the Year, also got NJAC's second team, but you also had a ton of first-team mentions with Kevin Contreras. It's great to see the sophomore forward getting on there. He had a great season himself, along with Sebastian Lapchinsky, who has been terrific as one of the fullbacks this year. Here on that right side, you'll see him up and down the field, had a second team, and some honorable mentions. They will be missing Carlos Bedoya here in this match due to injury, and that's interesting. No NJAC second team defenseman for them. They'll be out that, and you see the honorable mentions with up and down the list. You have some transfers, some homegrown guys like Jake Winchuck, Danny Tabone coming in as an honorable mention this year, transferred in from NJCU, and there really is no shortage of hardware for these Montclair State Redhawks. And as they continue on into the postseason, I think they have another award that they're looking for.
The bigger one for sure. But 5 first-season Redhawks, CJ, on that award list. Now let's get into the lineups of these 2 teams. We're going to start with the visiting TCNJ Lions. First starting in net, Vincent talked all about him. Sean Najunovic. Number 3, Lawrence Mancino. Number 4, Matt Merceri. Number 7, Chris Metter. Number 8, Aiden Grund. Number 9, Matias Hornos. Number 10, Massimo Rodio. Number 11, Matt Will. Number 13, Manny Thrasher. Number 14, JJ Zahn. And number 23, Sean Wood. That rounds out TCNJ's starting 11 and for Montclair State. Pierre Soumayon in net. The back line, Sebastian Lipchinski, Kenneth Neves, Tommy Puglisi, Jackson Parada. In the midfield, Jake Winchuck, John Carey, Kenneth Lopez. And now the attack, Danny Tabone, Kevin Contreras, and Logan Nino. CJ, I mean, looking at these two rosters, really, who are we looking out for specifically?
I have to be looking for all the young contributors above anything else for both teams. TCNJ, we mentioned it's kind of a new era for them. Steve DiMatteo has come in and revamped this, a top assistant at the University of Penn, where they were one of the best programs in the entire country last year in Division I soccer. He comes over, and his first recruiting class was a great one. You look, Matt Masseri, other guys, Aiden Grun, Matt Will, who you mentioned is starting in the 11, Manny Thatcher, Tyler Bornstein. These are all freshmen who have come in and made an instant impact on a contending team. It's really no different on the Montclair State side. We mentioned they have the Rookie of the Year in Tomas Montero, who won't even be in the starting lineup, used as a super sub, as Luke likes to call it, come into the game and make an instant impact. But other underclassmen as well, Jake Winchuk, Logan Nino, Thomas Puglisi, these are all guys who are going to make a strong impact. And so young in their careers, you have to wonder what a playoff game of this magnitude means really for both teams. It seemed as though TCNJ was well adjusted. We'll now see if Montclair State can come in the right mindset.
You nailed it. Two teams that have a lot of new players, and the freshmen and the younger players have made a mark, CJ. And this is what, tonight it's all tested. In the big games and the big moments, who can shine the brightest? Amazing coaches on both sides. Of course, you mentioned Steve DiMatteo, CJ in his first year, and Coach Todd Tumulty in his 15th. Two coaches that have been incredible, recruiting-wise, developing the very best players in conference play. Looking at these two coaches, very different experience levels. One in his first year, one in his 15th year. But, of course, both have been able to make it this far. And the goal is just to advance one game at a time. CJ, you got to talk to Coach Todd Tumulty a little bit this past week. What kind of statements has he given you, and how confident is he tonight?
Yeah, I was able to have a chat with Coach Tumulty just yesterday about how he's feeling, how the program's feeling, and how all of his guys are mentally preparing for this matchup. He admitted, like I said, that there are some things to clean up. Back-to-back draws to end the season, and only scored one goal over those final two matches. So you would love to get those things cleaned up. And he also admitted that there may be some nerves for some of these guys playing for the first time. You mentioned Pierre Soumeon, who we're going to see in net tonight. We're going to see two freshman keepers, but that's another person. He says the moment hasn't been big so far. Hopefully it doesn't get too big for this team. And according to his track record, you can look back and it hasn't been too big in the past. So interesting always to talk to him, because you get a little bit of a sense of, I don't want to say a sense of doubt, but maybe humbleness. I don't know what exactly it is, but he often underplays what his team is capable of. And going in today, it seems no different than a regular season match. They just know that they have to be perfect to once again move on. And as he said, his players looking for T-shirts. They want to get an NJAC championship as they move on to the next stage. They may already be in the NCAA tournament regardless of the outcome due to the ranking that they share, but at this point now, you love to get that hardware, stay atop the NJAC where you were and the teams you're so familiar with. It's even sweeter to get a victory over them.
100%. And these two teams faced off earlier in the year. Go back to October 4th, Saturday in Ewing, New Jersey. The Redhawks did win 2-1. However, this is when their starting goalkeeper, Diesel Fiore, went down. And we have been told by Coach he is not returning for the season. Pierre Soumeon has come in and become a leader. He's been amazing and outstanding. He's shown his presence like a veteran player. And for Montclair State, you're right. You said it perfectly. I think they could just treat tonight like a regular season game, and they might be golden.
Yeah, but he did also mention that earlier matchup. I asked him, how much weight do you put into a matchup? It's early on in the NJAC schedule. Both teams have evolved over the last month or so before playoff time. And he said, yeah, they've gotten better. So have we. It's time to put that behind us, understand what they're going to try to do to move on in this playoff game, and to go from there. It's a 2-1 victory, and we mentioned they were up 2-0 for most of that match. But like I said, both teams vastly improved since then, especially under a first-year head coach for TCNJ. You're going to see so much growth and just so much evolution throughout the season. Now it's time. We're kind of building it up like it's this Cinderella. It certainly is on the brink of being that. Tonight is going to be the biggest test of their season.
Huge. And to come here versus Montclair State, a team that has been outstanding at home, no losses at home on their home turf here at MSU Soccer Park, have been outstanding all season. We see TCNJ ready to take the field. The Redhawks in one final team huddle. And again, both teams playing for that date on Saturday in the NJAC final. for TCNJ. Again, first-year head coach Steve DiMatteo took over the amazing George Nazario, who coached from 1995 to 2023. They had an interim head coach in 2024. But George is a guy that is local to myself. He's an amazing soccer player. He was a great player in college. He's an amazing coach. He's brought silverware to TCNJ, and it looks like the new coach is in good hands here.
Listen, TCNJ's only had 3 full-time head coaches since 1982. They know what it's like to keep the standard of continuity and to have your coach around for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. And clearly they see that again with Steve DiMatteo. He's had nothing but rave reviews from former assistants and head coaches that he's been an assistant under. And tonight we're going to see what he's made of here in some playoff action. His first time on the road in the NJAC tournament.
Montclair State in the white uniforms with red numbers. TCNJ with the navy blue and yellow stripes, white numbers. Logan Nino at the center circle, ready to kick this one off. Here on this Wednesday night, again, we appreciate you joining us on the Red Hawk Sports Network, and the NJAC semifinals is underway. Ball is sent deep immediately by Carey, and now the Red Hawks start their attack. Tabone finds Winchuk. Winchuk flying down the left wing, plays it through to Tabone. The Red Hawks in the middle, finds Nino. Ball is bouncing around, and TCNJ on their heels early.
And this is something that's going to be super interesting to see. Todd Tumulty thinks that TCNJ is going to sit in a low block, that they'll play off the counter, but that means Montclair State's going to have a lot of time in the final third today. You see early on wasting no time getting down there. Now it will be about methodically finding those open looks. They've got to learn from Rutgers Camden, who took 30-plus shots but only landed about 8 on goal.
The Red Hawks have tied 2 straight matches. Tonight's the night to win in regular time. As the contact there is drawn, Massimo Rodeo taken down. I want to see how the Red Hawks could get through that low block. It does look like TCNJ will aim to really sit back and play off the counterattack, which isn't the easiest always to execute on, but I think that's the stance you have to take when you play this amazing Montclair State attack.
They have some very athletic forwards, which is going to be the key. Can they outrun this back line of Montclair State that has been known to be so good all year long?
Here's Matt Will. TCNJ trying to link up, and again, the Red Hawks, you say TCNJ has the low block, the Red Hawks have that high line all over the College of New Jersey attack, and no room for them to go. Now Lipczynski works his way, splits 2, and keeps on going, and then switches it across. Here's Danny Tabone on the outside. Transfer from NJCU, has been a crucial player for Montclair State this year, earning a leadership award. Nino taps it back. Kenneth Lopez on the outside. TCNJ loaded up in the box, and easy block on the shot. Now Parada going forward. He rips a shot. It's deflected. And I don't know how you're going to get through that low block of TCNJ. 9 players in the box on that offensive attack from Montclair State.
My goodness. And that can also play to your disadvantage. If you're in the way of your goaltender in his line of sight, that could become something that becomes an issue if a ball gets through, but so far nothing doing, and a brick wall in the box for TCNJ.
That one driven through. Jake Winchuk brings it down. Some solid possession here from Montclair State. TCNJ have been defending. Puglisi into the area. Far post, and it's too far for Contreras. Not sure if Najunovic got a hand on it or it just went out of play. And it looks like it will be a goal kick.
Contreras was pleading for the corner. Does not get it, but what a ball from Puglisi, and you see a little bit of what Montclair State's going to try to do. Puglisi sort of quarterbacking, sees the opening toward that back post and let it rip.
Lipczynski drives it forward. Lopez battles in the midfield for it. TCNJ start their attack. Here's Manny Thrasher. Advance forward. Outside to Chris Metter. And Lopez slides and joins to fight for the rescue on that ball to keep Montclair State alive. And he is holding his leg. Not the player you want down right now if he is injured.
Seems like he's going to be helped to his feet without any medical assistance. But good job from Neves. Chris Meter, someone who can absolutely fly. Junior mid, forward, has 9 goals, 20 points. this season, and on a 6-game point streak right now. He's somebody who's going to make something happen on the offensive attack every match.
You got that right. He's tied for 4th in the NJAC in goals. And that's somebody to watch for Montclair State to be ready for on defense. Puglisi gets taken down. Advantage is called. Now Tabone drives forward for Montclair State. And maybe a miscommunication there with Logan Nino. Now TCNJ once again. Manny Thrasher. Matt Masseri. Long ball over the head of Parada. A foot race between Neves and Metter. Metter brings it down. Chris Metter on the outside. He rips a shot, and it's off the body of Parada. And that's what the team captain leader does.
And you're once again going to see them just go over the top again, looking for their guy. And it was nice defense indeed from Parada. Parada has really taken on a leadership role this year. And somebody who only played 11 career matches before this season now leads the team in minutes headed into this game. What a turnaround of one season.
And he's played soccer all over the place as we see Neves back down holding his leg. If you're a fan of Montclair State, probably holding your breath here, hoping he's all right.
And wasn't exactly able to see what was happening throughout that, but maybe a continuation of what we saw just a minute ago and trying to grind through it. For now, he'll have to take a little bit of a break and seek some assistance.
It looks like it, holding the same part of his body, which looked like his quad area. CJ, nearly 5 minutes into the match. Have you had any early thoughts or observations on what you've seen?
Yeah, well, Montclair State, I think we've seen what this game is going to be all about here in these first 5 minutes or so, and obviously adjustments will follow from either team. Montclair State, a lot of possession, and it's all about picking the right looks. They've had some quality chances. A good ball from Puglisi nearly set up something for Contreras, but they're also going to have to be very wary of the long ball today. The Lions just uncorking it from their own zone any chance they get with that counter. Chris Meter a couple different times today has come flying down the field and making a run. They've done a good job at quelling that so far, but all it takes is one breakthrough.
Also, Chris Meter being named Offensive Player of the Week in the NJAC Conference this past weekend. We see Kenneth Neves help to his feet. He's able to walk off. And CJ, the guy that Coach Tumulty brought up to you in the conversation you had with him now, checked into the game.
Yeah, well, I mentioned guys who would maybe step up on this Montclair State roster in place of injury, and you just see Noah Denal check in right there. Someone who more than doubled his total minutes for the season in the final match of the regular season, and they get a stop there on that back line early.
One of the players that was honored on Senior Day a few weeks ago, and again, you never know when your time will come, and then that time, Noah Denal probably didn't expect to get into this game in under 5 minutes, but now he is summoned by Coach Todd Tumulty.
Transferred in from Jacksonville University, has come in, and now in the Redhawks' biggest game to date this season. A lot of that weight going to be on him. Makes it that much more valuable that he got in all 90 minutes against Rutgers Camden to wrap up that regular season.
Parada will let that ball trickle out of bounds for a Montclair State goal kick. And CJ, the pattern we've seen from this Red Hawk team each game, and I've been on a majority of these games, so I've been watching them a lot. They have struggled to score, and then they bring in Tomas Monteiro, who ends up eventually scoring. And I wonder when that sub will come, because it always happens pretty early, especially when they're not generating a whole lot of offense.
There's a couple playmakers sitting on that bench right now for Montclair State. Not only Tomas Monteiro, but Josh Virgil, someone that they also like to get into the game, and someone that Tumulty thinks, two players that they think could start in most programs. They're off the bench here, but they've accepted their role, and they know when they come in that the Redhawks are looking for some offense. You're right, it will be very intriguing to see how long they wait. It can't be longer than another 10 minutes or so.
Aiden Grund goes down the sideline, plays it through to Rodeo. And Denal on the pressure now. Rodeo still on the side, drops it into the middle, and Lipchinski, who's been stellar all season around, just hits it out of play. We're going to see the first corner kick of the game, and the Lions will have the first one.
Rodeo really patient there, down near his own touchline, with the goal line closing in as well. Does a good job waiting. Nothing opens up. Lions take the corner, the first of the game.
Matt Will on the corner kick, who has scored 4 out of the last 5 games. 1 goal last game and a 2-time Rookie of the Week, including in the latest NJAC Award inductions this past week. Matt Will drives it short. Give and go, receives it back. One time into the area, the ball is just hit wide. And that was Matt Messeri on the header. And luckily for Montclair State, they couldn't just tap that one in to take the lead.
Wow. I mean, that was dangerous. They bring in Messeri, who comes flying in. By the way, a little bit of a homecoming from Messeri, hailing from Cedar Grove. And real dangerous opportunity. They do give the goal kick to Montclair State, but didn't seem as though they were prepared for that first Lions corner.
Pierre Soumeillon on the goal kick and sends it deep. Now the Redhawks back on attack. Tabone finds Jake Winchuk. Winchuk, left foot cross and a little too much power on it. Again, just looking for Contreras on the far post, really.
No better guy to find down toward the box as of late.
The wingers, the speed Coach Tumulty has on this team, Kevin Contreras. You mentioned Josh Virgil, who's not even a starter, but comes in and becomes an immediate top player on the field. A lot of speed to go on this Redhawk team. And plenty of players for Coach Tumulty as well to rotate the group. Ball driven into the box. Loganino battling for it. And Lawrence Mancino wins that battle.
I know this Lions group gets a lot of help and a lot of bodies down there toward the goal line, but they do an excellent job for themselves. Mancino doing an excellent job this season out of Christian Brothers and standing tall there as well.
Talked about it in our pregame show, 5-1 win versus Rutgers Camden in the quarterfinals. It was their first playoff win since 2016. 5 different goal scorers, CJ. And I think where TCNJ's strong suit is that the wealth is really spread around this team offensively. They don't rely on a single player to score. As mentioned, 2 players on this team are tied with first place on the team with 9 goals apiece.
They've got a couple high flyers, but they are not afraid to put the ball into the foot of somebody else. Everybody in that midfield, as well as their forwards, know that they can rip shots from wherever. And I don't know if you saw the highlights from the pregame that we ran against Rutgers Camden. Some bangers in that 5-1 win over the Scarlet Raptors.
These players are not afraid to shoot. Neither are the Redhawks, though. I think for TCNJ's low block, we've seen it so far. They've been able to cut out those long Montclair State shots just because of the lack of space they've had to get through. Messeri switches it successfully to Rodeo. Nice move there. And then Lepczynski every single time just cuts the pass off. You can't get past him.
He is terrific. Offensively, defensively. Stone wall here on this near side. They really let him roam wherever he'd like, but nobody knows this near touchline better than Sebastian Lepczynski.
TCNJ driving forward now. Here's Matt Will. He's taken down. Referee says play on, all ball. Loganino all alone up top with a lot of TCNJ players. Winchuk taken down. Referee says play on. TCNJ now on the counterattack. Rodeo. An overlapping Matt Will now receives it on the outside. Lepczynski closes in. Will cuts to his inside. Drops it short. Rodeo into the box, and Soumeillon comes out to grab what's his.
Looked promising there for TCNJ after the challenge on Winchuk was not called. And that was preceded by a tackle from Noah Denal of Montclair State that they did not get a whistle for either. Officials setting the tone early on, perhaps.
Long ball from Soumeillon is cut out in the air. Now Kenneth Lopez is able to control it and bring it down. Now the ball recycled to the outside. Puglisi into the area. Nino with his head, and he flicks it wide. A wide open Loganino at the penalty spot. Couldn't get it on target.
Well, this Lions defense will collapse with Montclair State. They continue to enter that attacking third really from a distance every time, and they know they can't take it in themselves because that traffic will all just back up toward the net. Instead, they continue to try from 30 or so yards out.
Najunovic ready for the goal kick. 13 starts and games played and 5 clean sheets with 50 saves to his name. Another stellar player and named NJAC Goalkeeper of the Year. We heard Vincent talk all about him in the pregame show on the sideline. We talked a lot about Soumeon, 2 goalies that have been elite this season in their freshman years.
Yeah, Montclair State and Roan, the only teams to score multiple goals on Najunovic. Going to need the freshman once again today. He's playing like a veteran as of late.
Here's Rodeo, guarded by 2. Contreras comes into pressure. Aiden Grund works his way. Here's Hornos into the middle, poked away by John Carey. Amazing defense. TCNJ steal it right back. Matt Will begins the attack. Quick reminder, Montclair State season ended here in the semifinal last year versus Stockton with a 2-1 loss at home. And of course, some of the very few returning players don't want that same outcome tonight. Got to try to get one step further, which they did get to 2 years ago, where they beat Rowan 4-2 in the NJAC final here at home.
And that was a crushing defeat for the Redhawks here. Only a couple players left on the roster. We mentioned a ton of transfers coming in, but at the same time, a lot of people and a lot of seniors on that team still sticking around with the program on the coaching staff as well. So there's still a lot of people that remember that sting. And when you see somebody like Todd Tumulty as your head coach, who's seen it all, who's done it all, now 15 seasons with Montclair State, it's games like that and matches like that that really drive you the next season to be at your best. And he attacked the portal and attacked the recruiting stages like he got his heart broken in the semifinal of the NJAC last year.
And although Coach Tumulty does have 5 NJAC championships under his belt, of course, he remembers those games. The NJAC semifinal where they lost to Stockton. Those are moments he won't forget, and I hope he reminded his team about that this year. Now TCNJ into the middle. Some nice moves. Into the corner. It's a goal for TCNJ. They take the lead. Chris Metter, the hero, and as he hits the Cristiano celebration in the corner.
Wow, Luke. And we thought it might come on a counterattack where TCNJ finds their first goal. Instead, just walk them down and rip it from deep. Chris Meter knows when to take a shot. Absolute veteran, his 10th goal of the year. And that time just walking into one. Soumeon a little bit off his line. And you see, just able to free himself for a shot. Soumeon a little bit off that line, gets beat to the back post. The freshman giving up an early one. And it's at the hands of the junior Chris Meter, who continues his incredible campaign here for the Lions.
Chris Meter, 2 assists last round in the quarterfinals versus Rutgers Camden. Did not score, but he does have a goal contribution in his last 7 games now. 7 straight games with at least 1 goal or an assist. And now solidifies himself as the #1 goal scorer of the TCNJ Lions. And how about taking a 1-0 lead here at MSG Soccer Park in the NJAC semifinals? Soccer Park has gone quiet for a moment.
That it has, and it's big to get that first one, especially in a playoff match. I know that is the goal of every single team, but especially when you're playing against the #1 seed. You're in a bit of a transition year for your program, and it's finally time to step up to the big dogs. Getting on the board first is a great sign, and it goes a long way for some of those younger players on the TCNJ roster.
Lubchinsky switches it long to Jake Winchuk. No goals on the season for him. 4 assists, though, but an NJAC All-Conference honorable mention. Back to Winchuk. Has some time with it. Drives it low into the area, and Masseri just taps it out. Kerry puts it right back into the danger. Now Montclair have to come back from behind. As we see Tomas Monteiro start warming up as Lubchinsky's shot is just too high. Although I like the effort. You really can't get through that Lions defense too easily.
No, you cannot, and it's going to have to be shots from beyond. That's why we saw Rutgers Camden with such a low shooting percentage as far as putting balls on net and only 1 goal. Back on Saturday, it's because everything is from a distance and everything is at arm's length. When there's so many bodies in the box, you've got to get far enough away that you can elevate it, and you're basically looking for something up near the crossbar, which is a very challenging thing to do against a stellar goalie in Ajonovic.
Updating you on the other side of the bracket again, winner of tonight and Rowan versus Stockton play in the NJAC final Saturday night. Rowan and Stockton tied 0-0 still in the first half. Winchuk, Puglisi overlapping and hits it too high. The Redhawks now are just directly firing shots. They want to tie it up.
And I don't know if that's as a result of the goal that they saw just a few moments ago, because it seemed as though they were still looking to push the ball down toward the goal line, but it just hasn't been there for them. We saw them try with some passes earlier. And now just starting to take shots from beyond.
Want to see how they respond to this one. TCNJ, if they can get one more goal, that is where you could rattle Montclair State. Montclair State do come back a lot from being down 1-0, so the Lions can't get too comfortable.
We've seen a couple different comebacks this year here on this field against NYU specifically. Big win for the program.
Rodeo into the area. Sumayon catches it easily. But again, TCNJ are able to break through the Montclair State back line, building up on the ground with passes and moving off the ball. It's been amazing.
They look really, really comfortable in the attacking third right now, and even so, working toward that far corner, going to have a foul there. And you could get a little bit of a momentum swing here.
Over the back, that was Masseri. As you see the replay there. Easy catch for Pierre Sumayon. So we're going to have Jake Winchuk on the kick for the Redhawks.
Typically, it would be Bedoya taking this. So interesting to see now with Winchuk taking the kick off the set piece. They look to get it down toward the box.
Jake Winchuk on the kick. He drives it in. Off the head of Masseri. Now TCNJ trying to start the counterattack. Lepczynski in a foot race. He gets beat very rarely. Now Matthias Honus going through. Poked away by Lopez. Advantage is played. Meter out to Matt Will. Winchuk on him. Matt Will drives it through. Meter almost scores. And Kenan Lopez at the last moment to the rescue. Wow.
A couple of different times. They play advantage. I thought he got ball on that first challenge. And what a play. That easily could have been 2-0. Wow. What a play from Lopez.
You used the word just moments ago, comfortable. I have never seen anybody this season look this comfortable against Montclair State here at home. As I mentioned, they have not lost here at home. But now the Redhawks have been able to, they're being broken on the ground through possession and through the build-up play.
Inside and out. Lions opening up another pass with each move.
We do see Josh Virgil at midfield ready to sub in for Montclair State. Coach Tumulty now going to his bench for some insurance. Here's Rodeo going down the line. 4 goals, 2 assists. 2 goals in his last 3 games. Lepczynski on the ground, doesn't get it clean. Contreras puts it into the danger zone in the middle, and now Parada's forced to defend. Here's Hornus on the outside. Parada traps it, and the referee says he was taken down with contact. They got to get that back line sorted out right now.
Wow, and you mentioned they're keeping that high line, but it's all about transitioning those numbers from the back half to the front half, and that's what TCNJ is doing. They're getting their bodies from back on that low line, and they're able to jump up and get the numbers against Montclair State. They have just not had enough guys back there right now.
And we see the results of Kenneth Neves not being healthy and in the match right now.
That is huge.
NJAC, all honorable mention, one of the most physical players. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, and he doesn't make any mistakes. And ever since he came off the field, it seems like Montclair State's back line has been rattled.
Neves has been going through a little something. He didn't play in the regular season finale against Rutgers Camden, but someone who makes a huge impact when he's on the field. They'll have to make up for that now by keeping a heavy attack, and you see Tomas Montero now coming in. Perfect opportunity for the Redhawks to do just that.
NJAC Rookie of the Year coming off the bench for Montclair State. 9 goals, leads all NJAC players, all freshmen in goals. And in big moments, he's been the player summoned by Coach Tumulty all season long. And what a bigger time to do it than now, tonight, here in the NJAC semifinals. Tabone on the outside. Again, ricocheted off a TCNJ line. They're all over the place.
Those passing lanes being shut down. Why you see so much over the top right now with Montclair State. Chips into the box. That's what Tabone looking for again there. They get a chance now here with a corner.
First corner of the game for Montclair State. They had to wait nearly halfway through the first half. Winchuk drives it into the middle. It is high in the air off the head of Puglisi. We see Noah Denal on the attack, and Montclair State, I think wisely, just slowed down the attack a little bit.
Puglisi got up there. He was ahead above the rest. Ball just kind of caught him in a weird spot with so much traffic. Not really able to maneuver his way inside the box, but another great ball from Winchuk.
It has been Winchuk's service that's been his strong suit this year. As I mentioned, no goals for Jake Winchuk, but if you're watching the games, you can see how they build through him. He's the guy in the midfield connecting passes and advancing it out to those wingers. Puglisi with not the greatest touch there, and he turns it over. Winchuk wins it back. Now Virgil has his first touch on the ball. Here's Tomas Monteiro. Just a little sloppy, out of bounds. It's going to take him time to get warm. But I think the Lions did their homework on him, and they know who he is.
Yeah, he's a little loose with his dribble there on that far touchline. Good job by Sean Wood.
TCNJ building up again. Massimo Rodeo just drives it back, and now TCNJ will play the game of possession, which is usually Montclair State's game when they go up. And even Lipchinski, he's having a great game, but even he seems a little nervous here. Usually he brings the ball down, he'll go and attack. He's been great on defense, but not a whole lot of dribbling from him, which we usually see more of.
It might have been a little bit of an over-adjustment, at least early on here with the Redhawks, trying to work against what TCNJ does defensively. You don't see it with a ton of teams against Montclair State because the Redhawks really haven't had a ton of offensive production this season in terms of goals and putting the ball in the net.
Nice move there from Rodeo. He's got the number 10 shirt, and he is playing like a number 10 right now. Still Rodeo. And the forward all the way from up top, Danny Tabone comes back to play defense. Virgil in a foot race. He doesn't win it. It gets redirected to Lopez. Now Monteiro going forward. Masseri on the attack. Monteiro with the solid pressure to now earn the throw in the attacking third.
Great run from Monteiro and great defense as well to earn that throw. They like to go short.
Winchuk. Puglisi has some time, drops it back to Carey, who gives it right back. Puglisi maybe trying to do too much. It's turned over for Chris Meter. I think TCNJ can go even more defensive now after going up 1-0.
Absolutely they can. And it's been interesting because they've had so much success offensively. It's looked like they've tried to add on, but that recipe is working right now defensively. Montclair State, I mean, to this point, can't say that they've had an elite chance on goal.
Which is very rare for this team, especially in the first half, as Tabone is just met with a ton of force on the outside.
And look how they are adjusting to these playmakers of Montclair State. Redhawks are going to get that kick, but Tabone, that's someone who you can see down to the goal line and start to make a play. I think we had a game a few weeks ago where he cut the corner and earned an assist. You want to see more of that, but the Lions right now smothering everything.
So again, in a place where you would normally see a Bedoya free kick, it's going to be Jake Winchuk, as we see Coach Todd Tumulty getting everybody set in the box. The cross from Winchuk is spilled out of the 18. TCNJ crashing out and pushing up now, but staying very compact. Winchuk tries to take the sideline, just slides past Matt Will. It goes into the area, it's redeflected, and Montclair State will earn a corner.
And they're happy to get a corner out of that. Not a ton on that ball coming into the box. But instead, they earn themselves a corner. And it's been set piece after set piece in the early going. Still no shots on goal.
Well, you got to take what you can get right now. And there hasn't been a whole lot of attack. Ball's driven into the middle. And it falls for Puglisi, who's not too happy about it. It almost got redeflected to Parada, who was on the 6-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know that that actually hit anybody on its way in. Harmlessly made its way out of bounds and for the goal kick.
Lipczynski steps up there and earns the possession back for Montclair State. Carey drives it diagonally. Virgil in the corner to receive. Puglisi, left foot cross into the area, off the head of Lopez, and it's redirected to Tabone, who couldn't get to it before it trickled out.
I still like the look. This is really going to become a game of when can Montclair State have the numbers against the Lions. They get them there, a little bit thin inside the 18, our TCNJ, but just unable to complete the play.
They keep knocking on the door. Another foot race. Meter. Parada tracking back for Montclair. And he gets a left foot in just to keep the attack quiet. Now an offsides flag on the far side. Believe Monteiro was offsides.
It's funny, you're not going to see too many offsides today against Montclair State with where that back line of TCNJ is, but with their offensive success starting to push up just a little bit.
It's hard to do today, that's for sure. But again, TCNJ, look how they keep a high line when Montclair are in their back line. You see the center backs holding that 50-yard line.
They're starting to inch their way up, and as the time's going on, it feels like they're getting higher and higher.
And the confidence level just keeps on raising. That ball's sent deep. Soumeon off his line. And he gets that ball picked up. Again, a lot of positive play from both teams. Only 1-0 so far. If you're just joining us late, it was Chris Meter for TCNJ. Monteiro gets redirected to Lopez, who shoved to the ground. My goodness,
wow. Wow.
Tough no call there. Winchuk brings it down with his chest. Tabone shields it. Nice play from Winchuk, Lopez, and Tabone. Now here's Monteiro. Monteiro on the outside. He looks to the middle and to the hands of Najakovic.
Really good job by Aiden Grun. Sorry to cut you off, Luke, but changing that angle for Monteiro, he never quite had it after he was redirected.
The game's been rather clean so far. Usually we see in the NJAC matchups, it's a little chippy, it gets out of hand. It's been fairly clean outside of a few minor fouls. Tabone driving up the right side. Puts it into the middle. Off a TCNJ defender. And again, I don't know how you're going to get past that back line. You almost got to try to attack the outside of the box shots. Lopez cuts it off. The Redhawks attack stays alive. Here's Carey. Carey shoots it. And just a little too high, but not too far off the target.
That's maybe the cleanest look that they've had all day. To this point, Carey skying it. But those are the type of looks that they're going to have to try to take advantage on, especially as this game goes. And we know that urgency level will only rise right now. There's certainly no need to panic with 15 minutes still to go in the first half, but good look from Carey right there. Like to get that down just a bit.
Two subs for Montclair State, Gabe Mendez and Max Perry. Two midfield reinforcements. Those guys have been working hard.
That they have. A lot of the battle today being back and forth. Midfielders getting involved, and Be interesting to see how both of these teams manage their benches. We know Montclair State takes pride in their depth. TCNJ, just no substitutions so far to Montclair State's 3.
Here's Perry on the ball. First touch, he turns it over. Now Noah Denal in a foot race with Meter. Meter wins it. Perry comes to the rescue and wins it back, and Montclair State just maybe one step too slow. 15 minutes to play here in the first half. Here's Rodeo into the area. Meter in a battle with Mendez, who wins it. Virgil on the outside. And even too long for the very speedy Josh Virgil.
Really nice job from Gabe Mendez to get in there and make that play. These TCNJ playmakers, all of them right now are touching the ball entirely too deep in the Red Hawk area.
Lopez dragged to the floor, and a late whistle there will give Montclair State a free kick. I'm wondering what the status is on Kenneth Neves. That is somebody that you would like back into this game, and of course, if you were to advance to the final, it's not somebody you want to play an NJAC championship without. Noah Denal on the free kick. High into the 18-yard line. Perry off his head, and Puglisi goes high, and it actually doesn't miss by much. That was the best chance of the night.
That it was. Puglisi doing a good job with his activity inside the 18 so far today. So much of this Montclair State offensive game relies on their backers, whether it be on set pieces like that, but also Lapchinsky working up the field today. They go as those guys go.
Rodeo dancing on the outside. Perry closes in the space. And the passing triangles keep on working for the Lions. Almost giving Montclair State a taste of their own medicine. This is what they normally do to other teams. They move the ball around, tire them out. And it's been keep away for the winning side so far. Deep ball from Masseri. Puglisi. Winchuk in the air tries to bring it down. Lopez couldn't. Now falls to Jackson Parada. Trying to figure out where Montclair State lack a little bit of skill right now, or where their weak spot might be.
It's just
Monteiro bodies Masseri. He's going to the middle. Monteiro tries to find Virgil, who I believe tried to fake it for Lopez. A missed opportunity that time.
What a centering ball. They had a chance. Still do.
Mendez with some room to work with. Gabe Mendez with the shot and just didn't put his head down that time. Too high. Do you think Virgil should have taken that shot?
I thought Virgil had a chance right in front. And still an attacker running behind him, but I don't know. Monteiro puts that ball to the middle. It's got to be received. Can't be a line to be the first to touch that. And Luke, you ask what the lack in skill is. I don't really know if skill is the right word, because we know what the Red Hawks are capable of, but right now just have been a little bit too loose with their touches like that right there from Lopez. And maybe even more so, that's kind of been exacerbated because TCNJ has been so sharp. Give credit to them in the game that they have played so far, because their passing has been terrific. And they have found open man after open man, just carving up the Red Hawks in their own half right now.
Aiden Ayar into the game for the Lions. 4 goals and 4 assists on the team. Freshman from Monroe Township, also logged a goal last round in the quarterfinals. Again, one of 5 scorers in that quarterfinal matchup. So now another goal scorer into the game for TCNJ, and maybe bad news for Red Hawk fans. Tiro with the pressure, and that one gets drilled deep to Matt Will. Winchuk on it. He's dealt with pressure and is stolen away. Matt Will on it. Meter calling for it on the outside. Gabe Mendez tracks back amazingly. And now Noah Denal with the step. That is great defense.
And Mendez today having to be that defensive midfielder. And he's done just that. Cleaning up the mess in a couple of cases like right there.
Denal just gets it off his back. Some contact from behind. Referee says play on. Matt Will driving towards the 18-yard line. Meter drops it back. Here's J.J. Zahn. Now the Red Hawks in defensive mode. 10 players behind the ball. Zahn on the corner. Drives it low into the box off the foot of Meter. And Lapchinsky lifts it to safety as a foul is called in the process. Now talking between the official and J.J. Zahn.
Surprised that warranted a chat. Luke, I don't know that the Red Hawks have won a single 50-50 ball in their own half. Everything going to the Lions, where they can control possession from there. That's been the biggest difference for me as TCNJ. They haven't even really worked their way up the field. They're kind of just putting it down there and letting their forwards work. It's been like candy from a baby with this Montclair State back line, at least so far.
And how many times have we said that they haven't won a 50-50 ball?
Hardly. Hardly.
It's
very uncharacteristic.
It's been the opposite of what we've seen all year. Now the Red Hawks on the attack. Perry and Lopez, a bit of a miscommunication and reckless tackle from Zahn. Luckily he got the ball.
Coming right in after the stern talking to.
Cleats up. That could have been very dangerous.
At the end of the play, no less. Oh, might have already been out.
Perry out of the game. Kyle Moore into the game. One of the freshman players Coach Tumulty told me he was very impressed with. I asked him, anybody new on the team that really stands out? And he said they all stand out great, but Kyle Moore is one of them. He's been a solid addition to this Red Hawk side. 3 goals and 2 assists. As that ball's drilled into the area, Virgil battling for it, and a goal kick for TCNJ, and no rush.
And the Red Hawks are really just still looking for the spark plug. They keep trying to put different attackers in the game. We saw Virgil, we saw Montero. Kyle Moore now going to come and try and make something happen himself. And obviously, Virgil a little bit more in the midfield able to make plays, but guys like Kyle Moore and Montero need to be in that attacking third. Ball should be on their foot pretty much every time they enter.
Chris Fontanaza into the game for Montclair State. Talk about leaders. He's one of the few leaders that still remain on this team. No goals, though, or assists to his name in his senior year, which tonight would be the night to change that if you're going to change it.
So he's the definition of lightning in a bottle. He can come in and very, very quickly run right around you.
And by the way, Montclair, just so I should be clear, Montclair State, they could flip the momentum and script really fast. A lot of times when they're down, it takes 1 goal for it to pile up.
Yeah, right now we're just sort of into that stage of the game where they are dragging along and looking for their rhythm, but they cannot let it snowball while they're there.
Sumayon taking his time, motioning all of his players to push up the field. Lapchinsky finds Moore, who gets his first touch on it. Kyle Moore dancing on the ball, looking for an option, and it's ricocheted out of bounds for a throw. Looks like we're going to see a long throw-in attempt from Lapchinsky. He tells all of his teammates to get into the area. The throw. Falls back to Lapchinsky's feet. He tries to put it into the area, and Max Perry couldn't get it clean out of the air.
That ball just a little long to the back door. Perry more toward the middle. You saw him try to work his way back and get deeper inside the 18 and toward the crease. It's still a quality offensive possession, and that you have to take. Sebastian Lapchinsky, again, sparking that offensive run. He is just so valuable.
And he might have mistimed the jump. That's what I'm thinking. It looked a little early to me.
It was just a little bit awkward. Had to sort of jump back almost at the same time that he had to go up.
Monteiro uses his hold-up play. Under 5 minutes to go in half number one. Can Montclair State add an equalizer before we go into the halftime break? One shot on goal for both teams. And TCNJ find themselves rather clinical in that stat. Ball sent deep, and no luck for the Redhawks. Here's Matt Will.
Good pressure.
They have a high line. They're trying to corner TCNJ in, but you see this passing. It is outstanding. Now Matt Will with room to work with. And just too wide for Aiden Iyer. Perry couldn't connect there. Looked for Kyle Moore trying to run down that line. And if anybody needs to go into the halftime break right now, I think it's Montclair State, just to go in and reset. They look lost as a group.
I feel like these last couple of minutes have been better, but the Lions have a chance to overshadow that.
Noah Denal loses it to Meter. Chris Meter, amazing pass to Iyer, who drives on the baseline. And Lapchinsky didn't let him get in too easily, but another corner for the Lions.
Chris Meter just making things happen. And really, all of this attacking group. It is accurate pass after accurate pass.
He's talented, isn't he?
That's something that they really haven't gotten enough credit for. The Lions are a very, very skilled program. They brought in a lot of MLS Next guys in recent years. And you're seeing it pay off.
Matt Will on the corner kick. Sent high and long over the head of everyone. Here's Iyer. Virgil comes to pressure. Now the Redhawks push out of the box a little bit. Virgil, a little bit shaken up on that play and maybe left the ball, which could have started the counterattack. Mendez finds Perry. Perry goes forward and can't get the running Tomas Monteiro.
Excellent angle from Mancino to cut that off.
Lapchinsky cuts that one off. Now at the 2-minute mark, and it's turned over again. TCNJ going forward. Here's Chris Meter. Lapchinsky driving in on defense. Meter loses his footing just a little bit. Here's Aiden Grund. Will just wasting time, letting the clock tick. And Lapchinsky looks like he's in no hurry to pressure. Here's Zahn, rocking the captain's armband tonight. Will holds it in the corner.
What a ball.
Some of the best time wasting I've ever seen.
And still a threat to score at any moment.
Through the middle, Meter on it, and Soumeyan saves it. What a save from Pierre Soumeyan to keep the game alive, and could have changed in a heartbeat right there.
These Redhawks are really frustrated, but they should be happy because TCNJ had them on the ropes those last 30 minutes. And look at Sume unable to drop down. That is so difficult for a 6'4" keeper to be able to get down low and make those saves. We saw him get beat down low for the first goal of the day. That time right at him, and he just replaces the feet with his behind.
And luckily for Sumeon, the ball was hit directly at him. You had both corners that were open. Maybe one final push for the Lions. Meter just keeps finding ways to disturb the Montclair State defense, really. And I think he's the guy you got to focus on going into the halftime break.
And that's just a mental mistake from Denal there, letting that ball go beyond the goal line. It's going to be a corner.
10 seconds to go. They got to hurry. Matt Will, as the halftime clock goes off, that is how halftime will shake up. TCNJ 1, Red Hawks 0. As we see Chris Meter save the day for the Lions, putting them into the halftime break at a 1-0 lead. Also, just quick score update, Rowan and Stockton on the other side of the bracket in the semifinal are still scoreless. But, CJ, what have we seen from the first half here?
Wow. I mean, TCNJ, we built it up a little bit in the pregame. We said this could be the start of something special. Was the 5-1 quarterfinal win terrific? Yes, but this is the statement game where you turn a page in your book as a program, and so far in that first half, it was all Lions. Those first about 2 minutes, all to Montclair State. We saw some signs, some writing on the wall as the Lions pushed their way down, and then once they scored that first goal, they just took off from there, controlling possession and handcuffing Montclair State the rest of that first half. They had no response.
The team was shaken up, I think, too, when Kenneth Neves went down. We saw the back line lose organization. It almost looked like certain players lost confidence in a way, and their passes weren't as precise and accurate, and it's really not the Red Hawk team we're used to.
Not at all. And you're right, injuries are certainly a part of it, but that's what happens as the season goes on, and Montclair State's a team that's really taken pride in their depth. They trust that the guys that can come into the game can play positively and play in a winning manner, and they are certainly capable of that, but those first 45 minutes, going to have to flush that down the drain. They're happy to only be trailing by a goal as they go in because that could have been worse.
If you're Coach Todd Tumulty in that halftime break and you're in charge of the squad, what are you changing?
Well, I think it's got to start with the attack, and that starts from really the ground up with your back line, sharp passing, work the ball up the field, get the ball onto the foot of your playmakers, and allow them to make something happen. So many different premier playmakers, goal scorers, distributors on this team that are not being utilized right now because they're so worried that they're going to get burnt defensively. That, the counterattacks, the loose touches, all of it right now, this halftime break has to serve as a mental reset.
We're going to step aside here on the Red Hawk Sports Network for the halftime break. TCNJ Lions lead the Montclair State Red Hawks here in the NJAC semifinals at halftime. Luke Sirianni and CJ Staniak. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for second half action here on the Red Hawk Sports Network.
Yeah, they're right there. I'm just going to look at your screen. Well, folks, welcome back to the Red Hawk Sports Network. It's almost time for second half action, but before we get started, as you can see, the women's soccer team, they just got their awards today, coming out to support the men's team, and a lot of awards that we got to go through. Starting off, of course, with the Offensive Player of the Year, Kylie Prendergast. I mean, entirely deserving. Get 12 goals for her on the season, 5 assists, 4 straight games with the winning goal, including last night against NJCU in the 2-1 victory. Then you move over to the Midfielder of the Year, to Shannon Mullins. My goodness, 2 years ago she was Rookie of the Year, now moving all the way up to Midfielder of the Year. At goal for the second year in a row, Solange Bell. has a wonderful season and an incredible in net with shutouts all over. Then, of course, let's win one more for the Red Hawks. Why not? Carly Gazzardo from Montclair State, second team All-NJAC, but Rookie of the Year, and entirely deserving it coming into that defensive midfield position. Then, with all these awards, you might as well give one to the coaching staff, wouldn't you? The Joe Russo Coaching Staff of the Year, of course, goes to Patrick Naughter and his crew. Montclair State wins it once again. Then you got some first team awards. It just keeps on going down. It's like Christmas in November all of a sudden. First team, Isabella Cronow, Aria Hicks, Emily Schuler, Shannon Mullins, and of course Kylie Prendergast. And on the second team, Mackenzie Albert and Carly Gazzardo. The team is stacked and ready for Friday for the NJAC final against the Rowan Profs here on the campus of Montclair State at MSU Soccer Park. And you can watch it here on the Red Hawk Sports Network. But why don't we look at some highlights from yesterday?
It's that time of the year once again. Welcome. And NJAC playoffs begin. Finds a hole. Mackenzie Albert.
Were they really?
Guarded by 3. Shot incoming. Kylie Prendergast. Goal Montclair. Goal Montclair. 1-0. 1-0 Red Hawks. Prendergast shot. Montclair State goal. Adding the cushion. 0 Red Hawks. Inside. Coming around. Goal! NJCU on the board, and the fans are erupting. 2-1. For 14th time in program history, Montclair State is going to the NJAC finals.
Really happy for this group of kids. I thought that coming in August, I didn't know we were going to be capable of this.
Freshman, I'm glad that this program chose me, and then I chose it. I'm just forever grateful that I got to play with it.
Playoff time, so win in advance, and you got to be in the game Friday night to have a chance to win it. So we're pumped that we're still playing.
Best of luck on Friday night. They're going to play the Rowan Profs here in the NJAC final at MSU Soccer Park. And Vincent rattled off all the amazing awards. Back to the men's game. A lot of work left to do. It could be their last half of the NJAC of the season.
That's right. 24 hours later, same field. And if Montclair State wants to do the same thing that the women's team did yesterday, some big-time adjustments going to be needed. Luke, I just want to make a point that we're about to begin this half. The teams did not exit the locker room until about a minute left on the clock. Some big adjustments being made, some big talks being had. And listen, we said going into the half that those 15 minutes or so need to stand as a mental reset and to come back in with a new mindset for this Montclair State team. But really on the other side, you've got to give all the credit in the world to the Lions, who came off the bus ready to play today, came in, set the tone immediately, score quickly, control possession the rest of the half. And now we get to see where things go from here. At what point do we get when Montclair State starts to panic? They need to hold that off as long as possible and stay composed, stay under control, and play their game to find the equalizer.
No doubt Coach Tony has his expectations for this team. I cannot imagine what he was saying in the locker room.
There's a lot of big discussion. He likes the adjustments, and he likes this side of soccer putting his team in uncomfortable situations. Well, this is about as uncomfortable a situation as they've been now all season long. And potentially, we're looking at the last half of, like you said, their NJAC season. We mentioned that likely they end up in the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid just due to the fact that they had so much success during the regular season, ranked highly in the NPI, in the U.S. soccer poll as well, ranked highly. But right now with the task at hand, this is a team that wants an NJAC championship, and they're 45 minutes away from an upset.
JJ Zahn kicks off the second half here at MSU Soccer Park. Again, the winner of tonight's match will play the winner of Rowan and Stockton, who are still tied up 0-0 in the second half. TCNJ find themselves up 1-0. Chris Meter with the lone goal. And the fans did travel well. I do see a lot of yellow and navy blue throughout this crowd, I will say.
Yeah, we're on the right side of the press box, right here at midfield, where there are a lot of TCNJ fans. Give credit to them. They've showed up in numbers, and their team has backed that up.
Matt Will on the ball. Now Masseri. Montero with the high line, and we see him remaining in the game. Although he was not in the starting 11, I think Coach Samolti had to leave his top goal scorer out there, especially in a life or death situation here.
Yeah, facing a deficit, it's really a no-brainer. Montero actually started the season finale, the regular season finale against Rutgers Camden. Obviously came in as a substitution today, but staying out there down a goal.
And that was another game where they took the 1 seed. They tied, but Kane and Stockton tied, which ended up giving them the 1 seed. So, again, not something you want to lose tonight when you work so hard to become the best team in the conference record-wise, where you could host the NJAC final if you do win tonight.
Yeah, and obviously to end the season there in control of their own destiny with getting that 1 seed, but they got a little bit of help. I think it was still a little bit of a look in the mirror. They only scored 1 goal over those final 2 matches. Both end up being draws against Stockton and then against Rutgers Camden. They gave up a late goal in the 87th minute actually against Rutgers Camden. Today now playing from behind, which is an unfamiliar situation for them, at least late in the NJAC schedule it has been.
Very, very interesting. And the team really has changed their tone, as you said. 2 ties to end the year. And now the first playoff game they're losing to TCNJ. After, you know, a year of nearly just perfect and dominant soccer, especially in conference play.
Well, they had that 1 loss to NJCU, and TCNJ is going to get a corner here, but the first NJAC matchup of the season, they dropped that. You wonder, well, what is this team really made of? And then they ripped off a terrific unbeaten rest of the conference schedule, got hot at a good time, but certainly these losses unfamiliar, only 1 all year, and even that one was a bit of a surprise, a 4-3 stunner to the Gothic Knights.
Corner kick for TCNJ to begin the second half. Aiden Grun will use his left foot to swing it in, as all the Lions are really stacked up on the goal line right against Pierre Soumeon. Here's the cross into the area, off the post I believe, and it gets redeflected outside. Jake Winchuk comes crashing out to get a clearance.
And I think Soumeon was tracking that ball all the way in, especially with his height, standing over the rest of the traffic that was in front of him. But wow, what a ball from Grund. Off the front of that post, almost got a nice redirection back toward the middle. And wisely, Winchuk just living for now and clearing it.
Another break for Montclair State. The game still remains 1-0. Winchuk again with the steal, the interception. Puglisi charging forward at a rapid speed. Advances it to Kendall Lopez. Tabone on the left side. He receives right now. Tabone, left foot cross into the area. It's redirected. Contreras keeps it alive for the Redhawks.
Good start though.
That's the kind of energy we need for the rest of the second half, especially for Montclair State to first get the tie, but then try to take the lead. Contreras tries to dance around a few lines, and they didn't let that happen.
JJ's on, playing with a ton of grit today as they get the clear there.
Denal in a battle, and wisely just shields it out, as Chris Meter has really stuck to him like a magnet all day.
That's been a matchup back and forth. Luke, I love what they do with Danny Tabone as a facilitator. When they can get him going here on the near touchline, nearly found Montero. They need to get back to that.
Yeah, he's really, I think people just kind of know him as a goal scorer, but he does so much more than that, especially in the back half of the season. He really slowed down his goal scoring and more of, like you said, his facilitating, his creating, his movement off the ball. And there's so much to the sport than just scoring goals, and I think people get that confused all the time, where they just look at Tabone as just a goal scorer and not a solid all-around player.
Yeah, it's not at all the case, and obviously took that lead role coming into the year, that striker role, getting a lot of the recipients on that goal.
Lipchinski drops it into the danger zone. It's bouncing around, and Carey couldn't get to it first. Now Jackson Parada, what does he do with it? Contreras is screaming for it on the far side. Contreras now is fed on the right side. He drives to the middle, attempts to cut inside, and incredible defense from Grund. Contreras, though, wins it back. He goes on the baseline. Kevin Contreras driving in. He shoots, and it's saved. Lopez tries to go for the follow-up, and it bounces to Puglisi. And foul in the process. I'm not sure about it, but Coach Tumulty looks happy on the far side and gives his team a round of applause. That's the chances they need right there.
And it's going to be blown dead. That's just something that happens when there are so many bodies in a scramble situation like that. Somebody's going to hit the turf. And the hand goes in the other direction, as you see again. And it looks like Tabone, I believe, he just goes toppling over Matt Will, and that's what they're going to get him for. Right before Puglisi ended up with a good shot on net.
Meter drops it for Grund, who goes at the goal, and an amazing slide there from Jackson Parada. And that is incredible defense from the center back.
Felt like a blocked shot in the NHL, just getting in front, throwing the body. Get a little more on your slide when you're on turf, of course, and nice work from Parada as he got in front. Could have been a clean shot right at Soumayon.
I'm a big fan of Jackson Parada. Born in Hawaii, played a ton of soccer in Germany, waited 3 years to get his moment, and now starts as shots ripped, and Soumayon had the near post guarded at all times. Again, you go back to plays like that. Where's the defense? They need pressure. You can't give the Lions open shots.
Yeah, it didn't exactly have the angle, but the principle of that situation still, I believe it was Hornos who put that on Soumayon. Nice job to drop and make the save, but you're right, that can't really happen.
Again, although there was no angle, that's not the kind of plays you want to give up. It's just free opportunities, and for Coach Todd Tumulty, I know he's going to be hard on these guys with the defense because that's been their strong suit the last couple of years, and tonight it's been, come on through. We have a lane for you to come on and try to put a shot on goal.
And we have raved about this back line pretty much all year long. It's been arguably the biggest success factor. Tonight hasn't been where they want it to be or at the level they want it to be. I think the Lions have surprised them with how much they've gone on the attack. But there's still time, obviously, to pull this together. I've said it all day. It's got to start with the back line and try to work from defense to offense.
Absolutely it does. And now the Lions with a throw in near the corner kick flag. A lot of traffic back there in the corner as it gets thrown in. See Kevin Contreras. I mean, just somebody that cares about the team so much. He is a winger. He comes all the way back and plays defense, and he's not a one-dimensional player, and that's what you like.
The Lions have had numbers today when attacking, and that's what's caused Montclair State to have to bring some of their wingers down like Contreras. We saw Tabone make a nice defensive play earlier as well. Kenneth Lopez a couple times.
Now an attack for the Lions. One-on-one. Hornis. Noah Denal that time rose to the occasion. One-on-one defense to keep the game as is.
Yeah, he's starting to find his footing a little bit, which is a good sign. First half, it felt like they might have targeted him a little bit, going at Denal, a little bit inexperienced here at Montclair State, and they're throwing Meter at him. That's a big task to be able to handle in only your fifth match, or your fifth appearance of the season, if you're Denal. Starting to settle in a little bit more here in the second half, which is a great sign.
Yeah, I would not be surprised either if he had a talk with Ian Chesney at the halftime break. One of the top center backs in Montclair State history, and is on the coaching staff now after graduating last year. Here's Contreras into the middle. Cuts inside left. Still Contreras dancing on the 18-yard line. Puglisi, left foot cross off the head of Montiero, and it just goes wide. Tabone was in on it, and another close play for Montclair State. Need more of that.
Need more of that indeed, and we have seen it a couple of times now. You see they go to Montiero, he got a piece of it. A little bit mistimed. Didn't get that trajectory. But their two best chances so far in the second half with one-on-one opportunities at the net have come on crossers in toward Montero.
No, and I love that play. Very wide. He was attempting to go away from the goalie of the year in the NJAC, Najanovic. And that's how you got to do it. Aim for those corners. Just missed it by a few inches. Contreras advances it forward once again. Masseri with not a clean clearance at all, and now Lopez going forward. I think Contreras so far has been the bright spot of this Red Hawk team in the second half.
It's astounding to see how well-rounded his
Just ask her
game's
if it's
become.
back. Say if the
And
can's
now
back.
dancing with
Is
it.
camera 3 back on?
Leads the team in assists out of healthy players.
Good.
4 goals, 5 assists, and still Kevin Contreras just
Yeah, he
dancing
probably-
around
he
the
probably
Lions.
kicked the one.
He's still going.
Yeah, but you're good. Because it's hard to
Game
try to
is
like
really
get this
just
side
kind
and
of
then flip over to the other side.
Run through him ever since the second half whistle.
But it's obviously very difficult to break through going against the goalkeeper of the year and against a team that drops all their bodies inside the 18, but plays like that with Contreras, where they can get balls in, allow their playmakers to dribble around, it can lead to openings.
Another corner kick for Montclair State. The cross in from Winchuk. Off the head of Montero. What a save! What a save from Jukovic. And now the TCNJ Lions on a break. They have numbers going forward. Chris Meter all the way home into the 18. Chris Meter plays it square, and it's missed by J.J. Zahn. Are you kidding me?
Oh boy. That is an incredible turn of events. Still 1-0.
If that doesn't wake the Red Hawks up, I don't know what will. Here they go again. Into the goal. Hornis squares it. Meter saved by Sumayon. And did it cross the line? I don't think it did. And it looks like it will be a goal for TCNJ. Chris Meter saves the day again. And now the Lions can feel a whole lot more confident advancing to that NJAC final.
They couldn't survive this one. It's once again, how can this opportunity come at point blank? They survive and then give it right back up, and you see Sumayon, what an effort. Can he keep it across that goal line? It hits the post, and as he dives back, I mean, truly impossible to tell from this angle.
TCNJ goal scored by number 7, Chris Meter.
Going to be showing opposition to that call.
You see John Carey, his team, pick your head up. You see him there, firing everybody up.
I just don't know that we will be able to find anything that gives a definitive answer. My thing regardless, Luke, is that at least in one of those last 2 opportunities, the Lions should have broke through for a goal. If you're Montclair State, you cannot expect to give up 2 wide open chances like that.
Let's not forget the goalie, where it all started on that whole play. Sean Najanovic had his best game against Montclair State this season with 7 saves. It was an amazing header from Montero. He saved it. It led to a counterattack. Montclair State defense was sleeping, and then he saved it. Take a look at it one more time. And then seconds later, we see this again.
What an effort both ways.
It's so hard to see.
There's truly nothing that will be able to show us. They call it a goal.
You see the assistant right away.
Yeah, it kind of woke me up.
Now we need to see
Just wow.
Now we need to see the spread. No doubt about it. It has to happen.
Yeah, there has to be urgency.
Yeah, I'm following it. And I'm like, hold on, this is so
I saw it coming, I'm like, maybe I should go in front of the camera.
Sharpen that focus in your own half.
Contreras. Tierro drops it for Winchuk.
It's beyond urgent at this point. It's
Desperate.
It's desperate.
Chinsky into the area. Montero charging into it. Najanovic again. He's playing world class and proving why he was gifted NJAC goalkeeper of the year. Wow.
that's not on goal. Najanovic still able to get out there. He knows that Montero can control his body well.
Advances the ball once again. It's into the area. Nice defense from the Redhawks. It falls to Matias Hornets. He cuts inside. Lopez pokes it away. Now Montclair State can That's what you got to do to slow the play down, as much as you don't like to see those type of fouls.
They give out the yellow. It is a good foul, and it stops the break for Montclair State. Just a smart play, and that's what Zahn's done today.
I still keep thinking about that 2-minute rally we saw. See from TCNJ, they go back, miss the chance, and then seconds later out of their second goal. Now, O'Donnell again, back there all by himself. Really put to the test tonight.
It's just shocking that 2 consecutive breakdowns like that can occur. The counterattack I get, but off the stoppage, how do you give up the 2-on-none?
Matias Hornets.
In a situation like that, where there's a foul like that, it's on the other
now
side.
TCNJ really could just,
pan over to the
well, they're not done obviously trying to score, but they can take their time here, and we see them really already chewing the clock. 31 minutes to play.
It all depends, if Thor gets it, but you don't know if Thor got it or not. But I'd say start with that. But if you get some really good, if you hear some really good crowd noise,
ends that game of keep away.
It just depends on what she takes.
And he goes forward.
But either, in my opinion, if I was a director, either or is fine.
Some contact there.
Especially
John Carey now with the
especially in a close playoff game. Good.
You just saw the difference there. I think that represents this game really well. You get the tackle from Grund on one hand, which is clean and sharp and controlled. And then Carey just a touch off there and picks up the foul. That's been the difference. TCNJ's made those plays, and it's not necessarily plays that are expected to be made. They're difficult plays, but credit to the Lions. They've made all of them.
Sliding challenge from Montero now brings the Redhawks to the attack. Again, Lopez finds Contreras. He drives it into the middle and off the head of a TCNJ Lion. Speaking of 50-50 balls, TCNJ has been the best at it tonight.
And that's how they've kick-started so many of their offensive possessions, too.
Puglisi slows it down for Montclair. Squares it to Montero. Uses his hold-up play. Tomas Montero is blocked in the process, and now Chris Meter will just play it safe and lift it off to safety.
What a play to shield off Montero. So many times we've seen him sort of back down his defender successfully. That time stifled.
Tabone double teamed on the left side. Winchuk now. Puglisi. Back to Jake Winchuk. He drives it into the middle. And again, just they can't find anybody. They've been patient. They're able to pass it around and wait for an opportunity, and then every time that cross goes in, not much to show for it. Lapchinsky on the outside. Tries to work his way in, but not a whole lot of room to go. The ball's wide of Winchuk, and Parada with the late challenge. It's been sloppy.
Puts an end to a good possession.
I think we have seen some positive plays from Montclair State, but again, the communication just seems off. Everybody's rattled. They're down 2 goals. They're never down 2 goals at home.
They've hung in there for most of this second half, at least as far as set possessions have gone. It was just those couple seconds of mayhem that put the insurance in for TCNJ. Give them some much-needed cushion. There's still 27 minutes left in this, and Montclair State a lot of time to figure it out. I will say that I think they've looked better, at least on the offensive side of things, some of their best chances of the entire match. But they've got to get one before they can get a second.
I think Coach Simulti really has put in everybody that we see on a normal basis into the game. So now it's a matter of maybe formation changes or something different. Noah Denal just knocked down Matt Will. And I think that saved a potential third goal for TCNJ. We're going to see clock stoppage.
You're right, that easily could have been another one.
Take a look at it one more time.
A little bit of contact, but if that ball gets through, Will behind everybody. Nice job by Denal. Tough to see him right now being stretched out.
And not somebody that they could really afford to lose, CJ. He came in to replace the injured Kenneth Neves, who got hurt not even 5 minutes into the first half.
He's the lone substitution that's hung in there today defensively. Gabe Mendez has also seen some time today, and he plays a little bit more toward the midfield, but can get back there. That's probably your next chance, your next option as a sub. You're right, though. This bench getting increasingly thin. A couple of different guys today. And by the way, just to bring it up, 7 subs, 7 different reserves for Montclair State making an appearance today. Only 2 with the Lions with a combined 18 minutes. That's it.
See Denal back to his feet. It looks like he's okay. I don't see anybody on the Redhawks ready to check into the game for him, but now a very tough set piece to defend, as TCNJ will have it right near that circle on the 18-yard line, about 20 yards out on the shot. We have Matt Will over it, as well as Aiden Grund. So a righty and a lefty. And you see Montclair State's wall like a military line, really. Everybody in one line and compact.
They're going to get Nino back in there as the sub for Denal. Very interesting.
Logan Nino did play defense last year against William Patterson when Ian Chesney was hurt, so we'll see how he does back there. Now the free kick for TCNJ. Can they add one more to the scoreboard? Matt Will takes a shot. It deflects and it goes wide. And that is what the wall is for right there, pushing it out of bounds for a corner.
Almost got an unfortunate bounce for the Redhawks. Still made its way toward that right post. Just beyond, though, it is still going to be a corner. And for TCNJ, the longer that they can keep the ball down this end of the field, whether they convert on these scoring chances or not, it's another minute that ticks off, another couple seconds that wind down, and still with a 2-0 lead.
See, the referee stopped the clock there as well. He's not going to let TCNJ, I guess, kind of mess with the time.
Well, I was going to make the comment that this at least gets the clock running, but they freeze it.
Now it looks like Coach Steve DiMatteo getting a little bit of an explanation on the far side of why the clock was stopped. Now the kick. Aiden Grund on the corner. 2 players home for the Lions. Everybody else near the 18 or in the box. The cross is wide. Two more subs for Montclair State. Virgil and Moore back into the game. Tabone and Contreras will take a seat.
Two guys who have looked pretty good here in the second half. They're going to take a seat in favor of fresh legs.
See Virgil again advance. Now Logan Nino drives forward for Montclair. Nino switches it. Lopez on the shot, and it's blocked by Meter. Driven to the outside. Kyle Moore into the area. It's deflected for a corner. But these are the types of chances they need. They need more of that.
Would love to see what would have happened if that Lopez shot got through. Credit again to the Lions and what they've done defensively. But you're right. More and more of these set pieces.
Rowan take a lead over Stockton. 1-0 into the second half. The cross. So right now, if results do hold, it would be a TCNJ final versus the Rowan Profs. But of course, lots of soccer to go.
In both cases.
Virgil's pass is too far. "25 minutes to play. Montclair have done crazier things. They could come back from this one. I think you need one goal just to kind of settle the nerves and maybe put the pressure on the Lions. Matt Will tips it deep. And Parada had it tracked all the way until it got to the hands of Sumayon. Nino with the high line. He steals it. Lopez through ball to Virgil. It swung all the way to the other side of the box to Moore, who brought it down out of the air. Lapczynski looks for options. He drives it into the area. Nino deflects. And he says there was a tip, and the referee agrees. Corner kick. Logan Nino, too, has been a positive piece so far in the second half. Another guy that's come in and changed the tempo of the game.
Yeah, played less than 20 minutes in the first half. Haven't seen him in a while, but comes back in. And like I said, they're opting in favor of fresh legs. It's worked out.
Here's Nino into the area and finds the head of Lapczynski, who gets it clean and just again can't square it on net.
To me, that's maybe been one of the things that they're missing this year is the go-to weapon off of corners and other set pieces. They love to use their defenders. And Lapczynski couldn't quite get it on net. We saw Parada do it for a lot of the season as well.
TCNJ now charging on the attack for one final chance. It squares to Chris Meter, and he scores! How about a hat trick for the superstar? And TCNJ can feel the NJAC finals coming up on Saturday.
Well, hats off. And there's nothing more you can say. Through ball that gets to Meter, and he takes care of the rest. This Lions attack all day has been a step ahead of the Red Hawks defenders. And he gets another one. This is stunning.
The same player has been a problem for the entire game, every second of it. Chris Meter.
His speed and aggression has jumped out pretty much from the get-go. Those first couple of lofting passes downfield to him. And he looks as fresh as he did on the opening kickoff.
Well, you mentioned that Coach Todd Tumulty told you that there was going to be a low block. There was a low block. However, Meter is always up on the defenders, and you see why. The pressure he brings, the way he's able to directly just dribble and score. His finishing ability is incredible. And a hat trick for him. I mean, hats off. He didn't score last game. He wasn't one of the 5 goal scorers in the quarterfinals for TCNJ versus Rutgers Camden. Now TCNJ driving forward again. Iyer through to Meter, who is actually going to be offsides. I mean, now the Redhawks should just drive players forward, right? Doesn't matter at this point.
Have to. There's no real choice. You got 22 and a half and absolutely nothing to lose down a trio.
And a player that I really feel for right now is Sumayon, because he's come up big in big moments, and I feel like he just wasn't backed up by his defense properly, especially what he's been used to throughout the season. Parada takes down Iyer.
I really don't know that there's anything that Sumayon could have done on any of those goals. He's probably, after that first goal, might have been kicking himself a little bit, but for as many bodies in the area, that first goal from Meter was uncontested. I mean, don't even get me started on the other ones, because those were just wide open. But not enough pressure on these forwards today for the Lions. They've taken full advantage, particularly Chris Meter has.
Lapchinski with the early step. No contact on that one. No foul. Nino now building up. Lopez drives forward. Puglisi. Virgil's pressured. And he can't keep possession. TCNJ tonight has been the better team all around. There's no doubt about it.
An all-encapsulating domination that we're watching right now, and there are still 21 minutes left. Obviously, things can change, but my goodness. This, we mentioned, potentially the start of a new chapter for them. You get the coaching change, big-time recruits.
Here's Virgil into the area and just pushed wide. It was for Montiero, however, he's not that tall.
And just the way that this Lions roster is constructed. A gritty defensive effort. Sorry, go ahead, Luke. I was just going to say a terrific back line. You've got the goalkeeper of the year. You put so much attention defensively, and you pair that with athletic forwards that can run. There's nothing that they can't do. And when they need offense, they get offense. When they need to lock down, they can lock down. Clearly, they've made adjustments from the first meeting between these two teams, a match that was largely dominated by the Redhawks, because they've been a step ahead.
TCNJ on the attack once again. Jake Winchok now steals it. Actually, very surprising sub from Coach Tumulty. He took out Jackson Parada and put in Danny Tabone, so the all-out attack formation is in full effect now. And Virgil just couldn't get a clean cross in. Like I said, I've been here a lot of the games this year, nearly every men's game here in the booth. I've never seen anybody close push around TCNJ or push around Montclair State like TCNJ did tonight. At home, let alone at all, because this team does not get walked on often. And it's a huge message to the Rowan Profs if they're able to hold on. They're still up 1-0, 81st minute in the semifinal. So right now you're looking at a Rowan versus TCNJ final. I think TCNJ pretty much already have their ticket punched. Rowan have a lot of work left to do.
Feels like it's anybody's NJAC to take, in which case momentum a lot of times is a big factor when you have teams that are evenly matched. TCNJ's first time back in the playoff since before COVID.
And it's just incredible. I mean, you're looking at, again, we talked about it a million times, 5 goals against Rutgers Camden, 3 tonight. You're talking about 8 goals in 2 playoff games, CJ. Now, you're going to go to Rowan, who only has 2 goals, 1-0 win versus William Patterson. Let's say, hypothetically, they hold the result versus Stockton. We're going to see TCNJ, the 4 seed in the NJAC Finals, versus the 3 seed, Rowan Prof. So Rowan would be hosting if results hold. when I think myself and everybody else had Montclair State Stockton at the start of this bracket.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. And the way that match went a couple of weeks ago, that scoreless draw between Montclair State and Stockton, but a game that looked like two of the best teams in the conference. I don't know, you just haven't seen Montclair State look this human.
And TCNJ get a little more confident with every pass and every chance that they generate.
Absolutely they do. First 2 minutes of this match, they were backed up in their own zone.
Winchuk looking for options. He's played his heart out tonight. Again, just frustration. TCNJ of all 11 behind the ball. There's no harder defensive line to break than that. The ultra defensive that TCNJ is in right now. Here's Moore. Gets into the area. Squares it for Lopez. Winchuk on it again. Left foot shot is deflected and it falls. Kyle Moore on the volley. He puts it in, and Tobin adds a goal for Montclair State, keeps them alive, and that was what they needed. Danny Tobin.
And the Redhawks, you see in a dead sprint back to center circle. Finally, that pressure breaks through. I think even down 3-0, I've liked the way that their last couple of possessions have looked. It's really been everything but the finish for them, as you see again. First able to put that ball on net. A nice job by Tabone, the presence of mind to go and finish that play off before it crossed that end line, because it could have been cleared potentially. It's hard to tell exactly where that ball was.
The play started from Jake Winchuk. He put it into a dangerous spot. It got cleared out, and then Kyle Moore did an amazing job putting it right back into the box. So Danny Tabone, his 9th goal of the season, the senior from Clifton, gives the team a little bit of hope. And there is a lot of time left. You're going to go back to some of those small mistakes. What happens if we marked up on defense? And talking about if it was a 2-1 game right now, it's a whole different ball game.
It is, but still not over.
TCNJ driving in. And it's another goal. TCNJ respond immediately. Who else but Chris Meter? Goal number 4 on the night. Incredible. He makes it 4 here at MSU Soccer Park, and TCNJ just canceled out what the Redhawks just did.
This guy is off the meter.
That's an understatement. Wow. And CJ, here's my whole issue. How do you score a goal and then immediately just let them come right back down and do it again? I feel like you worked so hard to get to that point. Tabone waited patiently to get his goal, and then the defense just lets up one immediately.
Yeah, you mentioned they made that substitution. They go forward heavy, trailing by 3 goals, and that's where you start to see it backfire. Everything was okay when they were holding on to possession and they had the numbers, but TCNJ gets the kickoff and doesn't give possession back to the Redhawks. They go right down and score. That's how it's done. Take advantage of the chess match within what you're already seeing, and man, it's right in front of you. You've got the numbers, only 2 defenders for Montclair State. 2 true defenders. And then Gabe Mendez, sort of that hybrid.
That one lifted high and on top of the net. And you're right, Coach Tumulty's sub, his choice to take out Jackson Parada and put in Danny Tabone did work out in a positive way. But then, you know, when you are in all-out attack and you lack defense, you're going to allow a goal to happen that easily. It's all a numbers game. And for Montclair State, they had to gamble there. And it worked for a moment, but not for long. Virgil advances. Lopez at the 18. Moore on the outside. He receives. Kyle Moore, first-time shot. What a save. Rebound. Ricocheted and blocked once again. Incredible defense from the Lions. Now TCNJ driving forward. Kyle Moore called on the foul. I thought he got the ball from here. How about the defensive efforts from the Lions? My goodness. Double safe.
You just go and you watch the Lions when they are in the attacking third, and then Montclair State when they're in the attacking third, and the defensive traffic and just congestion in the box to make life difficult on the shots that are heading toward goal. It's night and day. The box is bare for Montclair State, which allows a player like Meter to take advantage. They come down the other end, and there are blocked shots left and right, deflections, ricochets, and not enough room to operate, that's for sure.
Moore now on the attack again. He's into the area. He cuts it back. Lays it off for Monteiro. Shot is blocked and redirected out of bounds. I mean, Kyle Moore did everything right on that play.
100%. And Montclair State continues to be an aggressor late in this match. Commend them for their effort, still trailing big. But as I mentioned a few minutes ago, outside of the finish from Tabone, it's been everything except putting that ball beyond the crease.
And again, I've given him credit a million times, but Sean Najanovic, what a game he's had. I mean, again, comes up with a huge save. At one point, Monteiro could have tied the game up at 1, and that was where Meter went for his second goal of the night on the counterattack. I mean, you take away the goalkeeping that TCNJ has had, and this game could maybe even be tied. But, of course, that's what goalkeepers are for. Keep the ball out of the net, and Najanovic has done that and more. Here's Kyle Moore again. He cuts it back, has a shot, and it's blocked. It's like a brick wall in that box for TCNJ's back line. You really can't get through.
And to give even more with Najanovic, you see the break here for TCNJ.
Here's Matthias Hornis. Switches it. Matt Will, the freshman from Collinswood, New Jersey, on the outside. Josh Virgil loses his footing. It's squared to Sean Wood, who is in no hurry to go forward. Now it's dumped to the corner. Chris Meter. Does he go for goal number 5?
Now that would be something.
4 goals in an NJAC semifinal. I would love to know if that's ever happened, and I highly doubt it. Might be Chris Meter for the history books tonight. And just, again, I mean, you look at the story of this team. First-year head coach. They had an interim head coach last year. So a team that's still really learning the ways of the program. Maybe a dynasty could be building for these TCNJ Lions. That's what it looks like.
They do not lose a ton after this year. A couple of respected seniors, of course, as with any team. There's a lot coming back for more.
Grund drops it short, receives it back. Cuts inside of Nino. Grund and Chris Meter try to go for number 5. Wasn't close that time, but he can't be accurate every time. Contreras back into the game.
I do just want to... You mentioned a record, and while I don't have the exact answer for playoff matches or a semifinal match, I can confirm that this is only the second case all year of a 4-goal game by an NJAC player, joining Eric Cortez of Rutgers Newark in a game back in August.
Tabone on the attack. Dances on the baseline. And stepped out of bounds for a goal kick. A little bit of a heavy touch there from Danny Tabone, and you could see him fighting for every moment. He wants to keep the season alive.
Yeah, for somebody in their senior season, has gone through a lot of hardships in terms of health. Came over to Montclair State with a fresh start. And right now, you just don't know. You just don't know that you're getting that at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Certainly, it seems as though they put themselves in a favorable position so far this year in the way that they've gone about their schedule. One of the top-ranked teams in the entire country, only 1 loss. But right now, with so many unknowns, you just wonder what's going through the mind of some of these senior players for Montclair State.
Ball's drilled into the middle, into the hands of Soumayan. And I think it's just this, if the result does hold, it's going to hurt so much for the Redhawks. Again, they fought in regular season. They dealt with injuries. They dealt with roster changes. And, of course, just fighting for the 1 seed and then not being able to host the NJAC final, which you would have guaranteed to host at home if you won the semifinal. And then you pile on being eliminated in 2024 versus Stockton. Nice move there from Winchuk. Lopez pings it. Moore into the area. Off the foot of Nino. Monteiro tries the shot. And again, just it's blocked once again. Chris Meter. An outstanding defense from Gabe Mendez, who now slots in as center back. The one bright spot I could come up with is Montclair State will look very similar next year roster-wise. So another year for these young players to mold and grow as a group, and they will lose a few players. But as we've mentioned all season long, not many seniors.
Yeah, very young team, and something that Todd Tumulty admitted when we spoke at practice, but he wondered about a team facing this moment for the first time. This will at least be quality experience for those that are back next season.
TCNJ on the attack. Rodeo cuts inside to Bone with the defense, and he loses it. Shot coming in is deflected, and Soumayan blocks Hornis. And he's been out. Soumayan's been outstanding tonight, although he's conceded 4.
Terrific effort, and off the deflection as well. Great reaction. Soumayan, you're right. In his first NJAC tournament game, with more to come too. You see the save there. Somehow able to stab that.
Moore scoops it high, and I actually like the chance to try to lift it to Tabone, but it does not trick TCNJ.
I think Kyle Moore's been very crafty here in the second half. He's made a lot of opportunities. And they haven't appeared to be there.
Kyle Moore's been one of the bright spots throughout the 90 minutes we've seen tonight.
And just to your point, that's a freshman as well, who's still coming in and growing into his own as a soccer player.
And just a quick update on the NJAC on the other side of the bracket. Rowan Profs win versus Stockton 1-0. The goal scored by Christian McGillen. And now Stockton will be knocked out as the 2 seed. Looks like the Redhawks season could be over as the 1 seed. So if you're talking about a TCNJ, Rowan Profs NJAC final, it will be down in Glassboro. And don't forget, the Rowan women's team is coming up to Montclair on Friday night to face the women's soccer team for the NJAC final.
Good time to be a prof.
They always seem to be around at the end of these tournaments. No matter what sport, all of the above. They're great all around. High cross from Moore, off the head of Monteiro. Contreras trying to start some offense. He swings it in on the shot. Great attempt off the head of Masseri.
These defensive angles from TCNJ. You take a look from here. It's easy to see when the ball's on this side. Contreras on that shot, absolutely no angle toward the net. Only chance he had, it's right at a TCNJ defender who plays it well.
It's like a professional defense from what I see. Because a lot of times, although Sean Najanovic made some amazing saves, a lot of times it didn't even get to him. The defense blocks it. How many shots have we seen? I mean, it's been nonstop. 21 Red Hawk shots, 4 on target, but 1 goal to show for it.
We mentioned it, 30 plus for Rutgers Camden just last week.
Chris Fontanaza back into the game, who will be moving on from his Red Hawk career once the season concludes.
And you don't want to do anything like that if you're Contreras with potential national tournament games coming up. Picks up the yellow, and he's lucky that it was all that. That it was only that.
Although, just a reminder, the only way they get the automatic bid is to win the conference, so.
Right, it'll still be up in the air. Like I said, a ranked team in the nation.
They should be good.
You're thinking a chance that they can get in with that at-large bid, but a win right here would have gone a long way for them, too, to move up in the NPI rankings. Everything done by computer to see who gets into this tournament. This won't fare well for their NPI ranking.
Not at all.
And we'll see when the dust clears just where they end up. It's impossible to do the math with all the different conferences that get auto bids, the teams ahead of them that could win or could lose their conference. You just don't know.
Offsides flag that time. And the final minutes are upon us now. How about the Rowan Profs coming into the playoffs as a 3 seed, barely squeezing past the 6 seed William Patterson, and then again another 1-0 win versus the 2 seed. We saw 2 upsets here in the semifinals, and it was not what I expected.
And Rowan doing a good job to hold off their opponents, have yet to give up a goal here in the NJAC tournament, but they've got a date with an absolute wagon right now in TCNJ, the way that they've been playing, the way that they've been putting numbers up.
Currently 9 goals through 2 playoff games. And Rowan has had 2 clean sheets in the playoffs, so I would love to tune into this NJAC final.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It's going to be very interesting. Lapczynski drives it up for the Red Hawks. Moore cuts inside, loses his defender, and then not the greatest of crosses into the box. Puglisi, switch to Moore. Under 5 minutes left to play. Montclair State working it from left to right. Puglisi with the shot, and again blocked low. Masseri on it. Gabe Mendez all alone back there on defense, home for Montclair State. Everybody else into the box. Lapczynski with the shot, and it's saved again. I mean, just no matter what they do, nothing has fallen their way.
Najanowski has done a great job today of standing in the fire with all the mayhem in front of him. As many Montclair attackers, TCNJ defenders right in front of him. He stood there, taking the proper angles, avoiding being shielded or having his line of sight cut off. It's been very impressive.
Montiero tracks it down and overlapping Moore on the outside. Again, just can't get it into the area. TCNJ all packed into the 18.
Najonovic, also an MLS Next club player before his time as a Lion.
Tabone with the shot and another save. The follow-up shot, it's a double save. What a player. Sean Najonovic, do not forget the name. He has come up clutch tonight. Wow. Speaking of MLS Next.
What can you say? What can you say? It's been the story a lot of the day here for Montclair State. And as they have desperately tried to fight and claw their way back in.
Another punch.
We didn't talk about him much in the first half. but he's come to life, and he's really kept this cushion for the Lions in place.
Fontanaza tries to attempt a shot. It's going to ricochet off for a Montclair State corner kick. And we're at the 2-minute mark. Look at the double save there on the replay. Just incredible. And you see his teammates immediately going up to him. That one swung in, and he punches it again. Montclair will drive it back into the middle. Monteiro high on the header. I know if you're not watching the game and just look at the score, you're going to think this was very lopsided. And it was, don't get me wrong. But Nadzilovic could have, I mean, bearing any other performance from him, this game would be a whole lot different and maybe a lot closer.
Teams are even in terms of shot on goal. Montclair
27 shots in total.
With their 27th shot right there with Monteiro. And for much of this game, they felt out of it. But even with all of their collective efforts, now we're just seeing the defensive prowess of TCNJ standing up. Their back line, their keeper. I don't know how this team lost 4 games the way that they've been playing.
Some new players into the game for TCNJ. That one is shot, and Sumayon again finishes the season strong with yet another save to his name. A stellar freshman year, and you look at this Red Hawk team. They had an amazing season. They were rattled with some injuries. You lose Diesel Fiore. You lose Carlos Bedoya, who was your team leader in assist, and the star freshman fullback. They fought, and they're going to fall short tonight as we hit the 1-minute mark. For the Redhawks, a lot to be proud of. Stellar home record, lots of young talent, and a bright future for this team and for Coach Todd Tumulty's program that he has built. But yet again, falling short in the semifinals, similar to last year when they lost at home versus Stockton. One final push for the Lions. And it's sent long. And a corner kick will likely not be taken. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. TCNJ Lions return to the NJAC Championship for the first time since 2005. And they have done it as the underdogs, but a well-deserved and dominant performance send them back to the promised land. They will travel down to Glassboro on Saturday night in the NJAC final.
A masterful performance.
What a game.
A masterful performance, and it's a team that came in today with no expectations, no pressure, nothing weighing on them. It's a young, exciting, skillful team sort of breaking ground and doing something that they haven't done in half a decade, finishing over 500, getting back to this point in the NJAC tournament to compete for an NJAC championship. Just the fact that they are here takes the weight off of them, and you really saw it today against a team that is pushing for an NJAC championship and has been over the last calendar year since being beat in the semifinal. Montclair State will come up short again, and for TCNJ, the Cinderella continues.
It's amazing, and you said it perfectly, I think, when, as we see both teams shake hands, there was no pressure on TCNJ. Again, we do this in all tournaments, CJ, including college basketball, March Madness. We factor in the seeding so much when really the seeding isn't what matters. You get into the playoffs, and the higher seeds actually have less to lose. They have more to risk. And again, I mean, Chris Meter, all 4 goals. You just don't see performances like this at the D3 level. And Chris Meter is a junior, and I'm not, I'm no college scout, but there's got to be coaches that heard about this one tonight, and maybe, who knows if he'll even be with the team next year. Just an extraordinary performance. He could have had more than 4 goals, but it was everything. The defense, the goalkeeping, the composure that this team had, and you said it perfectly. Really no pressure going into it.
I mean, they played like it was practice. That's what it looked like. Free and easy. No pressing. No letting the situation, the scenario, the atmosphere, the location, the opponent, none of that impacted them. They played their brand of soccer. Steve DiMatteo, who I earlier said got rave reviews pretty much everywhere he's been. He said this guy will lead this program back to the standard it once held itself to. In year 1, already building something very special. They are a game away from doing the unthinkable.
And now you look forward to this final. I don't know what to expect. I mean, do you feel like TCNJ's momentum will carry through? Because you just went to the home stadium of the 1 seed and scored 4 goals like it was nothing.
It's hard to think it wouldn't. We mentioned the momentum that they would have after a explosive 5-1 win against Rutgers Camden in the quarterfinal. We mentioned that might be some momentum, but this was the real test, I feel like. You come in, you say, okay, well, that was Rutgers Camden. When you step onto the turf of a perennial NJAC contender and you come in and you play like you just did, and you once again dominate start to finish, at no point in the second half did they feel as though they were under duress after that insurance goal. It was the incredible save from Najonovic that set up the eventual second goal, and I guess technically the one that made the difference, with the final being 4-1. Yeah, I don't know. It's just TCNJ. There's something special in the air. You can call it momentum. You can call it whatever you want, but they're playing free right now, and it seems like they've really accepted who they are as a team. They are built like a contender. They're polished. They play with attention to detail. And there's nothing more that you can say. It was just a masterclass that we saw. And a few minutes ago, I don't know how this team lost 4 matches. That was part of the growing phase and part of evolving and crafting and getting back together as a team. And they have a well-deserved trip now to the NJAC final. Wow.
So that will do it for the season of the Montclair State men's soccer Redhawks. And that is going to wrap it up here on our broadcast on the Redhawks Sports Network. We thank you for joining us this whole soccer season. From Luke Sirianni and CJ Staniak, congratulations to the TCNJ Lions. They will advance to the NJAC final. For Montclair State, it is the end of their season. And here on the Redhawks Sports Network, we will see you soon.